Hey, welcome to EPS Pair Talk. My name is Robert. This is
Jeremy. How you guys doing?
and
Freddie, how you guys?
again, we're Elite Paranormal Society. Glad to have you on with us. We're going to let everybody go ahead and start logging on here. Remember, you're going to have to scroll down, Freddie. Let me know when we get going with that. Freddie, how you doing today?
Oh, rushing around. Time
Yeah.
change got everything kind of messed up.
Most definitely. Okay. Jeremy?
Doing good. Paranormally hungover from our investigation last night.
I so concur with that.
We're here. We're alive. So
It is rough right now, by all means. Robert, thanks for being on with us. Freddie, thank you very much for being on with us. We appreciate that, Freddie.
Melissa, how you doing? Colette?
Sandy's on.
Colette, Sandy, thank you so much. Ivana, as they start going up. Mark, thank you for being on. What is the other one above? Madi.
Body, it looks like.
Salute. If I said your name wrong, I sincerely apologize. Alexandra, thanks for being on with us again. We'd like to go ahead and give little shout outs and everything. Craig, thank you, definitely. Always glad to have Craig on with us.
Hiki or Heki? Heki?
I'm sorry, which one?
Right here. Hiki. Maria.
Maria? All right.
Colette.
Outstanding. I'm just giving everybody a second to jump on. Rob Hernandez, man, he's always busy. Surprised he had time to jump on with us. We appreciate that also. Greetings from the Philippines. Aquaman. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Tammy,
thanks again. Again, we're a very casual team. We like to go ahead and share. We were just kind of letting everybody fire up and jump on, catch on before we start really rolling with this. We are just fresh back in a few hours ago from an investigation we did, and we are suffering it badly.
I'm probably going off, 3 hours of sleep?
Yeah. We drove through the worst ice storm I've ever driven in.
Pretty wild.
And some very bad roadway situations.
The one time I don't take the four-wheel drive.
Not things to take sports cars in, by all means. Alyssa, thanks for being on with us.
Alyssa and Debbie and Jeanette, thank you.
All
Sandy
right.
was just watching a replay of the last one.
Sandy, thank you so much. We definitely appreciate it. We have several viewers that are awesome. You're going to see them being pretty interactive. You can sit back and watch. You can go ahead and communicate with us. We try to do as much live as we can. One, we're trying to share information, put back out in the field, stuff that we've actually learned. Thank you, Colette, for sharing. Stuart, thanks for being on with us. We like to give back, and our way of giving back is trying to explain what experiences or what we've learned in the field to try to help those that want to have some better knowledge of the field. Not telling you our way is the only way. By no means are we saying that so much. What was Danielle?
Danielle, live from the UK. Bear with us, guys.
Our eyes are not open right now.
I'm not showing behind on my screen, so.
Sean's on there.
Beautiful. Can you share this to my personal page? You know how to do it? If not, again, we are definitely fresh from. I'm glad Sean's awake enough to go ahead and jump on with us. He's actually one of our teammates as well.
Yeah.
He's our bouncer for the
Craig
team.
said he's going off 4 hours of sleep within the last 4 days.
Craig was with. Oh, ouch. Ouch.
He's got us beat, I think.
Yeah, we had some fantastic people on with us last night. It's amazing. We love having the viewers. We try to do as much of it. Melissa, thanks for sharing. We try to do as much of it as possible live so that you can see for yourself. If you can help debunk something, you're more than welcome to. We sincerely appreciate that very much. From time to time, with our reach, the way it's going, we do have some people that will start talking in a different language in particular. The translate does not always fire up on there, unfortunately, and so don't get offended if somebody starts using a different language. We do have a few people that will translate that information for us, and we sincerely appreciate those that do that. It's just people trying to. Everybody across the world is interested in the paranormal in all sincerity. Doesn't really matter about your religion or anything. People really, really are into it. Yes, Colette, we're so serious about the paranormal hangover. It's everything we can do to collect ourselves right now.
Just said if we fall asleep, they'll wake us up.
We'd appreciate that. Couple names.
Phil, Jennifer, Jeanette. Looks like some new ones there.
Yeah. Thank you so much for everybody who's been sharing again. We appreciate you sharing. We have our own page. We do a lot of our lives when we're not on Paranormal Warehouse. Again, one of our teammates just jumped on. we're going to go ahead and put the link on, and this is how you can actually get to our own actual page. We do a lot of our live on our own page. We do every Thursday. We also have a paranormal talk, just like we do during the daytime. We're trying to, myself and Freddie are usually working at nighttime, so we can't do the nighttime paratalks anymore. So we're trying to figure out what day of the week would work best. And the daytime is pretty nice because we're meeting a lot of people from the other side of the country, other side of the world, excuse me, which is phenomenal. It's bringing it together. You'll hear more and more talk about para-unity. That's what we're really into. We're really into just trying to share. And we have no problem. If you've got ideas, we're willing to learn. We're not always saying that we know more than anybody else. Stephanie, glad you guys got home all right as well.
Yeah.
Colette's going on a investigation next month in the UK. I no doubt you guys got some incredible locations in the UK. It would be pretty amazing.
We'd love to be out there.
Eventually, we'll see what happens. Eventually, we'll see what goes on. I was talking about the viewers and the ones that were on with us last night. Anytime we have a live investigation, again, it's interactive. We had a lot of people hit on some really good detailed stuff last night.
Yeah.
And you really did. You guys really did that were helping and making comments. Regardless what the comments were, you guys were really helping the homeowners learn to take back their own house. And that was phenomenal. And we appreciate you so much for that. Sincerely. It makes a big difference. When they can hear people online actually hitting on the same exact stuff, or people, they can tell that people are pretty well honed in and, justifiably have faith in what we're doing as well, it makes the homeowner feel a lot better. And we really appreciate it. There was, there's some young kids involved as well, so it was very, very important to have that.
Steph's sleepy.
Cheryl, last night we did an investigation. We said we're in Virginia. Again, it was private residence. When it's a private residence, we can't give out the information. It's the only thing I will ever lie to you guys about. I will not tell you the actual true location of where it was at. That's just in being straight up with you. The confidentiality with the client is most important. The last time, we've had local events and we've mentioned where we were actually at. We've had people show up.
Right, what's up, Gil? How you doing, buddy? Gilson's another one that was with us last night.
Gilson just left the house, just got to his house from my house after he rode with me. So as soon as I dropped him off, he helped me unload, and he is just getting home now.
Dang.
So it tells you we are so we're on the bottom right now. Javette, thanks for being on with us. We appreciate it. Melissa. We didn't give you a holler out already. Which part of VA? Melissa, honestly, I'm lying to you to be telling you any particular part of VA. I'm just trying to be honest with you. You can't really go by that. Trust me when I say that, please. Vicky, Tracy, thank you so much. Paul, all right. Thanks for being on, Paul. Appreciate it again. Ohio, love it. If you're with a team, feel free to go ahead and type in your team. You can put your link to your team in there. You can put the name of your team. We love to give shout outs for teams. There's a lot of really awesome teams that have been working with us. Matter of fact, we have a podcast with Dark Knight Paranormal coming up, I believe, on the 22nd. So we've got some things working with some other teams out there. So that's phenomenal.
Do you guys do research of a location before you go in?
Amber, we do have one or two people that will do the research. They do not share the information with the rest of the teammates. You guys want to explain why?
We like to go in blind. We don't want to get information ahead of time and have us start swaying us in a certain direction toward a certain name, toward a certain individual that might be there. We like to see if our investigators start hitting on that stuff, and then get the confirmation later on with the information that he kind of keeps secret from us. So.
Yeah, even
our medium things better.
Our medium doesn't usually know unless we do a pre-walk. Our medium doesn't even get the information until the day of we're actually going there. Does she actually find out where we're going to? Tammy's first time. Thanks for being on with us, Tammy. We appreciate that very much.
Menon is from Morocco.
Morocco, awesome.
Nice.
Appreciate that. What she'll have?
I really was just wondering how it was, and did you catch anything to understand? Very never divulged the location.
Thank you so much for being understanding of that in all sincerity. Zira, thanks for being on, obviously. Daryl, same thing. We did have some really good, we had some very clear hits come in on the spirit box.
Yeah.
Gilson was holding up a cross, and it said cross very clearly. It said certain names very clearly on there, which was really cool. asking who, obviously a lot of people were picking up that it was obviously mad at me. I wore a priest robe yesterday, last night, this morning. I had a priest robe on. Unfortunately, when you were looking at it, it kind of wasn't quite, some people didn't understand what I had on at the time. And just to let you guys know, we knew the location we were going into was negative. We already knew that, unfortunately, and we had to just deal with it. So
Justin, what's up, bud?
Justin Brown, awesome. Talk about another person who's extremely busy. Justin, you want to put a few of your links up there? Please feel free. So we knew the location we were going into definitely had some negativity to it. We need to go ahead and make some adjustments. We did. I went in with a robe because I wanted to do, it was for two things. One is a trigger object to see if I could solicit a different reaction from it right from the jump. Two, Gilson usually gets picked on. He's an ordained minister. So to try to direct the firepower away from him so he would not be a target, I was trying to move it towards me and see if it would do that by chance. So we were hoping for it, and it just, so was some other people, but it didn't work out that way.
No, Robert agrees with going in blind, finding the evidence, and then matching it up.
Yeah, it's very important not to go ahead and just contaminate your thoughts or what you're tracking for, because if you're going in looking for like a young child, you get so focused and wrapped around that wheel that you're missing everything else at a location.
Well, especially with like Jeannie, our medium, or myself, or Gilson, who can pick up on things. If we go in knowing something already, we're already kind of looking for that.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
But there's also some times where you guys go in and say, hey, this is a hot spot here. This is a hot spot here. Just focus on them. A lot of times. Don't tell us what's going on, but you tell us these areas.
Correct. If there's something in particular that's going on, we've already tried to rule out any of the natural causes, like an EMF field or something like that. And even some of those locations, we don't even set cameras up for, because I'm a real big believer that when you're actually shooting the nice big red light for the IR camera, they pretty much stay away from the red light, because then the activity is right behind you. We see that over and over.
Justin's going to wait till the end. He doesn't want to direct people away from our show.
Justin, we appreciate that.
Have you ever had activity become worse after you've left an investigation?
Worse? No. Quite honestly, normally, if anything, sometimes it'll ramp up before we're going to, if it's a negative location we're going to, the activity will ramp up. Think of it as a little child throwing a temper tantrum. It tries to intimidate the client to say, you know what, never mind, because I'm scared what's going to happen when you leave. That is probably the number one fear that a client has, is they're worried we're going to make it worse, and when we leave, they're going to have to deal with it afterwards. Knock on wood, no, that's not been the case.
Definitely not going to happen with last night's.
No, no. I think we, yeah. Carol, thank you so much. South America, love it. Love it. Great question, though. I mean, a lot of people are fearful of, the activity picking up. We're going to cut over here for a minute. I'm going to go ahead. I love playing some audio. I want to play some audio. We got a lot of new people on here. This is real. The stuff I'm about to play for you is completely real. The first one I'm going to play is using a drop recorder. It's an EVP. There was 2 clients in the house that night sleeping. Had they not been sleeping, they would have never slept in their house again. But this is only residual, and I'll explain what that means here in just a moment. Let me just get it keyed up. Now, that was only one time running through it, but you can hear, obviously, there was some screaming going on. The thing to understand about it is, regardless of what you catch, and matter of fact, even the client, we're talking to the client, we're talking about doing a review, and she's like, well, I'm not sure I want to hear what you catch.
Yeah.
Which is a good point. Not all clients do you want to play everything you catch. It really depends on their mental state at the time. That plays a very, very big key role in that. This was a residual. Even though you're hearing the screams and whatnot, it's just a residual. It's frozen in time. It's not going to interact with the living. It's just an event that had occurred, and it's embedded in the surrounding and the environment, and from time to time, it's going to play over and over. Nicholas, Lindsay, obviously Lindsay's our another team member. Thank you so much for being on with us, Lindsay and Nicholas. Appreciate you guys joining us. So you have two types of activity. You have intelligent, that's what can interact with you or respond to you. And then you have the residual, which again is basically, think of it as an imprint in the environment. What you got?
Craig says he picks up on a lot of our EVPs.
Great job. He's been really tuned in with us.
Yeah. He's always yelling too.
Craig is just going to be our counterpart over in Europe, over in the UK. So we're going to do something with that by far. We sincerely appreciate your support, Craig, very much. Appreciate everybody.
Jessica. Amber said, thanks for answering her question. This is the first time she's watching, and it's amazing.
Thank you, Amber, very much, in all sincerity.
Craig said, sorry for the caps.
Really, what you see is really what you get. I mean, you ask a question. If we can answer it, we're going to answer it. If we don't know the question, we're going to tell you we don't know. We're not going to give you a BS line or anything. That's ridiculous.
Jessica, tell Josh I'm repping.
You want to explain that one for real quick?
Deadlight is a company that Josh Bender has created. He makes infrared lights that are just out of this world. They're the only lights we use.
Yes.
We have literally casted shadows at cemeteries with these lights. I mean, they're just
like over 100 feet away,
125
feet away. I mean,
light it up like it's daytime.
It's ridiculous.
But it's nice because it's infrared, so it's not affecting the investigators, blinding them, that kind of stuff. They're great, phenomenal lights. So definitely check out Deadlight. Josh Bender.
The fact that you can dial them up or turn them down, that's the big deal to me.
Dim them. He's got different wattages and stuff like that.
So we like to keep him busy. Right now, he's probably giving us some sign language. It's probably not too nice now.
I think he's actually, right now, I think it's like a 3 or 4 month lead time.
He is
when you put
booked.
An order in.
Yeah, he is booked.
Yeah,
but his customer service is incredible, and his product. He took one of his cameras and drove over his darn camera to see how well it would hold up.
One of his lights, yeah.
And he still lights. And he still uses it. It still works perfectly fine.
Yep.
And he's got a truck. I mean, it's not like he did it with something tiny.
It's a big truck, yeah.
That's incredible. So again, with our networking, one, we do want to meet people. We do want to network with ideas, share ideas. And two, we want to provide you guys, anybody that wants information, with solid information. As far as you heard Justin earlier, he does have a couple of different shows. Justin takes a very scientific look at things. Here comes some now. Perfect timing. Here's a guy who will take a very good scientific look at things, and really even doesn't matter what the activity is happening, he's going to go ahead and take it apart and really dial in on, and then ask for different sides of the opinions, which is fantastic.
Yeah. Jessica said, longer than that. Weight-wise for Josh's lights. So.
But they're so worth it. His lights are definitely worth
David
it.
Seiler from
Awesome.
Paranormal Inc.
Thanks for being on, David. We appreciate that. And again, you're welcome to go ahead and throw your teams up there. If you want to go ahead and say what your team is, help yourself. Not an issue. I'm going to throw another one out there at you for a sec. This is an EVP. Only a few of you guys have probably heard. Basically, this is where Laura was walking through the backyard. We got a call to a location. This is the actual EVP that was caught. You're going to hear some birds tweeting, so disregard the birds, but it was just an outdoor with a recorder while she was walking. It's very low.
I don't know if they're going to catch that.
Yeah, you might not hear that one. If you put headphones on, you turn it up a little bit, you'll hear it, and it's "I Miss You, Babes," and it was her father who had passed 6 years prior. Amazing that we caught that.
Yeah.
And again, this is kind of a full circle. What happens is, most of the time, it's not a negative issue that's happening, even though the original of what had this client call us sounded pretty nasty. I mean, when you actually listen to the recording she had, it was like, hey, help.
Yeah.
I mean, it did sound freaky. It really did, honestly. So, but it wasn't. The whole point was it was just enough manipulation to get us to come out there, and here we capture him saying, "I miss you, babes," which is, he always called her babes.
Yeah.
So pretty phenomenal.
And we knew nothing about that until we did the reveal itself, and then that's when everybody's eyes lit up while we're doing the reveal. Like, whoa, wait a minute here. It was pretty cool.
It was phenomenal at that point. Again, just for some people, play this. Hang on, let me play this clip. you have a chance, if you can pick up any pieces of that whatsoever, just type it in the comments. Let us know. I don't want to tell you what it is because then I basically am brainwashing you, for the lack of a better way. I'm kind of implanting the seeds into it of what it actually says. So if you can hear any of this, just type it in the comments. It doesn't matter if it's only one word, or if you don't worry about it. You good, Freddie?
Oh, well, I'm good. I just been up for 24 hours. Instead of the paranormal hangover, I have EMS hangover from last night. So no sleep for me either. So I had 6 calls overnight last night. So
Gilson keeps asking if you're all right.
yeah, Gilson, just a little tired, buddy. So
who else do we have right?
Haik?
Maria,
Might be saying that
thanks
wrong.
for being on.
Yeah.
We appreciate that so much. We really appreciate your comments. Sandy says, I never understand any of them. That's understandable.
Craig wants to hear it again.
I'm just trying to get closer to the mic. Help is definitely in it. So everybody who's putting in the help in there, it's definitely is. If you listen to it, it's a little bit easier. I'm going to get a heck of a sound system eventually, so it's a lot easier for us to crank them up for you. It's really important to be able to hear. That was Rob, help us, and then again it says Rob, help. It gets very personal when we're on location, so that's why we're so passionate about it, because if you have Jeremy or Gilson or somebody having their name said and that you get help behind it, it becomes very personal that you want to help and find out what's going on. And a lot of times it comes back to those that have abilities helping us help them, because you kind of tune us in if you have abilities, or if you just are getting names or things that have happened, that helps push us into the right direction.
Zara is asking if we caught the whisper of the woman on the recorder last night.
We have not. We just got home.
Gilson literally just pulled in his driveway.
Yes. We got about 3 or 4 hours, 4 maybe hours sleep. I think is the best 4.5 maybe if we're lucky, and we're absolutely ragged right now, to be honest with you. We have not gone through the evidence through the review itself. I will say one thing though, the basement, the clients would not go in the basement. At the end of the night, the clients were in the basement.
Oh, nice.
They had no problem with it whatsoever. That was not a normal thing for them at all. Vicky, you're absolutely right.
So James is putting on here, good evening from London. First visit to this show.
Kevin James, and thank you very much. Welcome to the show.
So he's asking, if dust particles and orbs, how would you know which is which? And he says for him, orb is a clear circle and a dust particle has no true shape. He's done a few videos in the dark and only the light from the camera on.
All right, as far as orbs, let me just cut to the chase on that, Kevin, and we appreciate it. And again, no offense against anybody, and this is just our beliefs. And orbs is so controversial by far. The paranormal field itself is already controversial. Then you add the orb factor into it, and the most minute little pieces of dust will show up. We have thousands of hours of video that will show you numerous going different ways, doubles. You get the pulsating, looks like somebody flipped the penny, because what it actually is, it's actually flat, and every time it turns, it's rotating and catching the light. Almost looks like it's pulsating. Orbs, very, very tricky. Really, unless you have some other activity that's happening at the same time, it's nearly impossible to get and say, hey, this orb. A light anomaly, you get the red or the blue. They're basically, it's like a floating dot that's actually going around, but it's not landing on a wall. That really throws you to a whole different level. Having something that has its own light, in particular, projects its own pattern, you still only cut it down to 50%, because now you might not be dust, but you still have to deal with insects. Mm-hmm. We were in a very, very cold location yesterday. Down in the basement was the coldest place it was. Yeah. And we still had a couple of tiny insects come out. Very, very tiny insects. Yeah. It's so hard to break it down at that point, and a lot of people get wrapped around it. I'm not saying no orbs are paranormal. I'm not saying that whatsoever. It's just getting very hard. A lot of people want to blow up orbs also so they can see what's in it, and now you start dealing with pareidolia. If you have, that's fine. If you got something, go ahead and read it out loud. If not, because they don't know what you're doing right now if you're actually just watching. So
trying to focus.
I hear you.
In my mother-in-law's house, there's a lot of activity, but more chases women. It smells like cigarettes. Although it's incredible to believe, you hear loud noises.
What happens? People, regardless, spirits or ghosts are people on the other side. I don't care how you want to put it. Just because they don't have this, we say they don't have the form. How do we know? We've got a lot of EVPs, we've got a lot of ITCs where they're saying, is that a spirit? Oh, he's dressed like this, or he's dressed like a ghost, or he's dressed like a spirit, or is, again, is that a spirit? Which are they asking us? Maybe they're seeing us as looking somewhat clearish to them, or like an apparition. We don't know that 100%. So if you start thinking of it as people on the other side, do guys chase women on this side? Absolutely. Are they cigarette smokers that chase it? Absolutely. Non-cigarette smokers? Yes. It's going to be the same thing with the other side. You do have, unfortunately, the ones that hang out in the bathrooms. You'll have certain locations, the women's bathroom, you hear about, unfortunately, the paranormal pervert.
We've had one of our investigators in a restroom. She pulled her phone out because the lights were going weird and she was hearing noises. She was the only one in the restroom.
Yep.
Hi to Tammy and Marcy.
Marcy's from Albuquerque,
New Mexico.
Awesome. Again, great question. Don't get offended if we're saying something like about orbs. It's just it's hard enough already because most people want to say they don't have any dust. And let me just tell you, when we turn on IR camera, it's dust. If you take a door and you actually pull that door and you just watch for about 10 seconds, you're going to see more dust than you ever want, or little dots or orbs or circles. You're going to see tons of them on the cleanest house, unfortunately. Got to get the orb. There's got to be some type of interaction before you're really going to know. When you get one that comes up to a person and all of a sudden it's going around, or it goes through their shoulder that they cannot see, but all of a sudden they're like, oh, my shoulder burns. And next thing you know, they've got a scratch. That's a great indication. I hope you're following with that. Again, what we're looking for is not just the basic evidence. We're looking for something that's a step above.
Oh yeah.
We want our name. We want something that when we say how many fingers are we holding up, you'll see us do it all the time because we're looking to hear two come back. We want something that's going to connect right here and now.
Color of our shirt.
Color of our shirt is a very, very common one. And we do get those answers back, which is pretty phenomenal when we do get them. We don't get them every time. And even when we get one reaction back, it's not good enough. We want two reactions. We say we have our fingers up and we get two on the spirit box, and then we say, what color is our shirt? And it says black. You're talking to somebody. You're going to be hard-pressed proving me otherwise. In my mind, I'm talking to somebody.
And then you have the one-off questions that we throw out every once
in a while.
Oh, yeah.
We definitely throw.
Where's Elvis?
We don't usually get a response to it. We don't expect to. We have some questions that are just control questions. We don't expect to have a reaction to it. And sometimes you get it. When we got gone fishing, that was kind of pretty funny, to hear that. So,
are you hungry? Where's the chicken?
Yeah. There was an expletive.
I edited it, but yes.
I appreciate it. Pretty phenomenal. The neat part is if you're watching a live show and then if you watch people that are turning around while we're doing an investigation, they're going, somebody's about to be pushed. And then they'll even, half the time, they're zero in on the person that's going to have something happen. And the next thing you know, that person has something going on with them. It's not something we want to have happen. But it's great. It gives us that heads up beforehand. But if you're sitting on the sideline just watching and you see it happen and you've paid attention to the comments, the clients are always sitting there with their mouth hanging down like, oh my gosh, I can't believe, how do they know this? Several of you hit last night about a fire being at that location. We found out at the end of the night there was a fire at that location. Yeah. We had no idea about it.
And they didn't tell us till literally
the client was like,
we get done, or
we had a fire. That's right, I forgot about that.
It was right before our very last round. Yep. And it was the very first round people were hitting on fire.
So again, some really, really astute things to be able to watch when we have people that are willing to share, willing to help out.
Well, it's pretty cool when some people jump on midway through.
Yes.
Because you can't read prior comments. You can't restart the video over. But we've had people jump in, and within 5 seconds, they're hitting on stuff that everybody else has already been hitting on. It's just like, it's insane. It's crazy.
Yeah, as it's scrolling up, until it's posted on the Facebook, you can't go back. You can only see what's on your screen right now, but you can't go back 2 or 3 minutes ago, which is what he's saying. What do you got?
Sandy has a. Do you think you get scratched because the spirits don't realize their strength?
What do you think?
There you go.
It's possible. I mean,
Yourself?
It depends on what it is. To be
That is
honest with
true.
you.
I honestly believe that a lot of scratches are not intentional. I believe that they've already done all kinds or tried different ways of doing it. Some, like you say, might be more so not knowing their own strength or what they're actually doing.
I just think it's more of an attention thing. A lot of time with me, I've been scratched a time. It's nothing, I don't think, harmful.
Right.
Just that, hey, I'm here. I'll get your attention.
Very rarely does somebody who gets scratched again and again and again at that same time. Instead of just being the neck, it's either intimidation or attention, more so. But I don't think it's always intimidation besides when we already know we're going into a bad location. And with that, we have confirmation, like with Janie, we know Janie's going to get sick if it's demonic. If there's something nasty,
Amber, thanks for jumping on.
Hey, Amber.
She's going to go ahead and get sick. So, and that's one of the things we're looking at. She already knows what's going to happen. But when you see her hair clip go flying out, and then she goes down and goes, oh, I was just attacked, and you watch it turn red live and you see the scratches, that is more so intimidation.
Some of the stuff we've seen her go through.
I love her to death. I mean, she definitely really presses herself and goes quite the distance, knowing that she's going to be the bait, unfortunately.
I mean, you're right. I know she's like the bait, but it's also interesting watching her, like that stuff happening to her. Like, you know what I mean? Because you know it's something is more or less.
There's no question about it. I mean, when she thank goodness Lindsay was there to catch her a few investigations ago when she completely passed out. She was gone. She was out.
They actually had to carry her up a flight of stairs and out of the building, and it took a couple minutes for her to actually wake up.
Yeah, I mean, she was completely out. There was no fake to that. There was no question. And even, I'll be honest with you, at the temple when we started dealing with the first demon we've ever really dealing with it on a constant basis, and then it was going after her, and it would go behind her and knock her knees from, like, as you go up behind somebody's knees and hit them. I actually slowed it down frame by frame so I can even watch. I want to see even my own medium. I want to see if it's a natural reaction or if it looks like somebody kind of doing it. And there's certain, between the look on the face and the body movement, you can tell are unnatural. And no offense, it's not meant as offensive, but you still have to stay as skeptic as possible about anything that happens.
And just so everybody knows from last night, if you were watching, Janie's fine. The rest of the girls are all fine.
Yes.
Janie left partly because
we knew she was going to go ahead and draw some attention. We didn't want her to go through another. All I was going to do is keep going. And what happens in a negative location is they will, especially the medium who, like Janie can see them real time. Just like you and I are looking at each other, she can see people on the other side, ghosts, spirits, whatever. She sees them like that. Go ahead and hit Justin's. You got a second?
Yeah, Justin, in my experience, only certain types of people get scratched. If you have been scratched once, it is likely that you will get scratched again in other locations, while others on the same team will never get scratched.
I concur with that.
Well, our own team, I mean, he's been scratched.
Abby has been scratched.
I've never been scratched.
I've never been scratched. Freddie's been scratched. Janie's been scratched multiple times. Gilson's been scratched multiple times.
Laura.
Has she been scratched multiple times?
She was scratched at her store before we went to the location.
Before the location, that was she has been one time. So we'll see if she ever gets scratched again in the near future.
Steph's never had anything.
Steph doesn't have it. Steph, you'd have to hit her with a chair to get her to actually respond to you. What does Marcy have? Yeah, go ahead and hit Marcy's.
Marcy, we had pounding on our front door and my daughter's bedroom window. It got so bad that our neighbors could hear the pounding. The police were watching to see who was doing this. I finally got tired, and so I cleaned my house, went outside, and demanded that it leave. It worked. But after that, my husband got cancer. He passed away almost 2 years ago. Do you think that this thing has something to do with it?
Marcy, so sorry for your loss. In all sincerity, I mean, it's heart-wrenching to ever hear of anybody losing anybody. We've heard the knocking story repetitively, where it's the doors. Sometimes it's only the door. Sometimes it's a door and a window, and there's never anybody seen. People really think it's neighbors playing jokes, kids playing jokes. It's happening when there's snow, so there's no footprints. Sorry. So sorry to hear that. We'd be speculating. I can't honestly, not knowing more of what's happened and having any more factual information, Marcy, we can't justifiably give you an answer to that, to say that's what caused it, the bad person caused it. Unfortunately, as humans, we've got so much junk put into our foods, we cause most of it ourselves. Amelia, thanks for being on with us. We appreciate that very much.
Said, nope, she's the oddball. That's for sure.
She is definitely, yes. Incredible researcher for us.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely great on the research, but when you want somebody who's consistent to see whether or not, what would have been really neat, KOA, every female we had went down. Stephanie was not at KOA.
She was the only one not at KOA.
And I would really wonder how, because Lindsay doesn't usually get affected, and she went down.
Get us back in there.
So KOA would probably be the, well, I don't even think we're going to have an issue with KOA anymore either, but we'll find out. Be very interesting, but so far Steph has not had any issues whatsoever. Very interesting.
Got any other clips there? Or?
Yeah, I do. I always have clips. This one, we go outside the house. This is actually at KOA, speaking of which. We go outside the house. Our talking is going to be very low, and then the reference is, don't disregard the sounds of the dogs. That's ours. We have real dogs in the house. But Jay's asking what time it is. The voice that answers the time is not anybody there, and you can actually hear the time that it says. And in case you're asking, yes, it was an accurate time. I'm just replaying it. Can you hear the time? There's a simple question. So I'm going to give you guys, we probably got a 15, 20-second delay, so I'm going to see if anybody could hear the time that it was coming out with. I'm going to play it again. If you hear the time, just type it.
Real quick shout out to Tim Buckeye from Twisted Paranormal. Is on here.
Is Tim on here? Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Twisted Paranormal, awesome team. Another awesome team. Tim, if you want to go ahead and throw your link up there, you're more than welcome to. Anybody, again, on the team, you're more than welcome that has a team. You can throw your link up there. If you have a paranormal store, if you have a podcast, whatever you have going on that's paranormal related, if you want to go ahead and type it under comments, you're certainly welcome to.
People hit the time now.
There you go, 10:30, and that's absolutely right. Yep. Again, that's a straight EVP. We did not hear it at the time, so it was not disembodied. We have all kinds. That place is just loaded with activity, and now every time we go up there, it rains.
Yeah.
So we can't go outside.
Yeah.
But the activity that's outside as much as inside is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Saddle up, Ellie. We call it that. You could smell like you were at a stable. I mean, it really smelled very loud of horses, and yet you get saddle up, Ellie. There was nobody named Ellie there, and there was nobody riding of any kind. So just so you know. It was 10:30, and again, it was very low. I get that, but you got look how many people got the 30 out of it.
Oh, yeah.
So it was, again, an EVP, very simple. We're walking. We have our recorders playing. So often we pick up the best when it's like we're casual, like we're not trying.
We're not
specifically investigating them. That's when we pick up the best EVPs.
Sandy, you really can't hear any of them. You're like me. You can't hear them.
I'm sending you.
That one I could hear, but
I'm going to send you a CD of the best ones that we have. And I need you to put your headphones on, Sandy. And
all right, so look.
Hit me up when you get them.
We're going to send her a disc and a test sheet. She's going to fill out the test sheet, send it back, and see how many she gets right. We'll grade her.
That'd be like a quiz.
Guys, what you see like right now is what you get. You know, we're pretty laid back You know, now during an investigation, we get pretty serious, but
Yes.
we're not going to hold anything back. I mean, who you see is who we are.
Again, we have on the end.
Freddie, hey guys, sorry.
Wait a
Bear
minute.
with us. We're all tired.
Which end? Next to me, we have
Jeremy.
Freddie is one of the Freddie is one of the investigators. He's been with the team the longest. He was from the original team that I had, as far as for Elite Paranormal Society. Matter of fact, you're the only other original team member left. Then we have Jeremy again.
I'm the social media director for the team. I'm the one that kind of makes all this happen.
He likes saying that. I don't know what the deal is about that.
Better you than me.
Hey, I'm the one that figured it out for you. Now, we all do work as a team. We all do make this happen.
It's all. I'm razzing. It's all good. I'm Robert Murphy. I'm the founder of the team again. You know, it's having good teammates that you can really depend on, that you can go ahead and yet at the same time you can critique, you can work with, you can laugh with, is a real big deal to have. But having people that's got your back is a big deal. If you're going to go investigate and you really want to put a team together, you really have to learn to mold together by far.
And it's best to do a team for safety too.
Yes,
I mean, I know we always put this out there. We're going to throw it out again, but, you know, safety on the spiritual and physical side of it. You know, you don't want to go into a location, be investigating by yourself, and get attacked by something evil.
Correct.
Because there's nobody there to help you. But you also don't want to be hiking through the woods doing an investigation and break your ankle and you're the only one out there, because then you're kind of stuck that way too. So,
one suggestion I want to put out there, and I've talked about it before briefly on one or two of the shows, and again, we're hitting a different viewer base every time we go on. We've hit a couple different days. Mm-hmm. We did a Tuesday, a Thursday, now we're doing a Sunday day. We're trying to figure out when we should actually do one consistently so that we can really get more message out during the daytime. There's an app, which is Google Translate. Well, you're not going to be able to see it because it's going to bleach out the phone. Google Translate. You can go to the App Store and go to Google Translate. And if you want to have something like, I want to learn Latin or start working with Latin when I want to deal with something, I can go ahead. I'm looking for what is your name. I can actually type it into Google Translate. Mine is so quiet. I hate that. And you can actually have it said out loud, which really helps. But if you're going to do that, you want to make sure, don't just hit this. You want to make sure you're saying it before you do that, because when you're getting to your recorder and you're listening to it a month later, you're going, what in the world?
Well, we were at a location. The reason we actually stumbled across this was my social media assistant, Danny. We're at a location. We thought we were hearing Spanish come through. Well, my Spanish is very, very limited. And so Danny gets down there and types something in Spanish and plays it. And we actually got a response.
Right.
So then I'm like, Danny, play them both. So when we're listening to it, we know what's up. So he played in Spanish, then he hit play in English. So on the recorder, you got both, and then you can get the reply back to it.
Hello, Amanda, and hello, Nicole. She's going to keep bugging us until she gets a shout out. So.
Oh,
Nicole.
Sorry, Nicole was so sorry we did not go ahead and give you a shout out.
That was my fault. I wasn't scrolling.
Nicole Scotty. Yeah. Timothy, thanks for being on. What is Timothy with? Oh, Twisted. No,
Twisted.
No,
Yeah.
my bad.
I'm
not knocking that down, Timothy. We were talking about you earlier, so I apologize.
They've been really busy filming.
Have they?
Yeah,
Awesome.
they've. I think they just put out their second season on. I can't remember what they put it up on now.
See, you guys, Timothy, you guys can get people that will film even behind the scenes and the whole thing. My social media director.
That's you.
We just got another camera to actually do that with, okay? Gilson was working on that.
Michelle, Charm City, thanks for being on with us.
Hello, welcome.
That's too
I'm
funny.
going to go sit in that corner now.
All good.
Oh,
again, even though I do want to throw it back out there, when we do our live investigations, we do get a lot of warnings, and we sincerely, we don't take that for granted at all. So please don't think we take it for granted. When somebody's saying, hey, it doesn't like you, it's going to attack you, it's going to do, we know that in certain situations. We do not intentionally provoke in normal locations at all, and I would highly suggest that you not provoke Just make sure, just in case anybody is newer to the field, things can turn really, really bad for you. It doesn't always mean that it's completely negative, but don't take a chance of it. You're going to get Barbara's in just a second.
Yep.
All right.
Just good.
But I just want to throw that back out there. It's not on purpose. If we're provoking, there's actually a reason in play, and it's done in a format that we already have a plan set up for. In case somebody has an issue or has to go down, we already know who's going to be taking that person out, how we're going to play it out. You really have to think that out quite a bit. I don't suggest it for most people.
Twisted is on VidiSpace. That's what it is.
On VidiSpace?
Yes.
Okay.
And Steph wants to know if we really want to do film behind the scenes.
Yes, Steph, we do.
Yes.
Well, we do want to have our blooper time too. So
That's
yes.
true.
All right, what do you got for Barbara?
Barbara posted, this is so neat. Myself growing up in a house with so much activity, and my whole family having seen and heard the spirit is what we called him. And people think you are nuts. If you say I believe in them, love listening to y'all. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We absolutely appreciate that. We don't force our views on anybody. It's up to anybody. Don't ever get in an argument trying to convince somebody about the paranormal. They're either going to believe or they're not going to believe. Some people don't want to believe because it's going to scare the daylights out of them to actually say it's real. We know what's real. We know what we deal with. It is what it is at that point. We just are originally, for the first several years, 80% of our calls were for documenting. People just said, look, I just know I'm not crazy. I know I'm seeing this out of peripheral vision. I know I'm hearing. I know I keep leaving my keys at a certain spot and they keep disappearing. Stuff like that. And we did do the documentation. We got quite a bit. And then we got into more cases to get a lot more serious of activity. Go ahead.
Michelle Putt, I wish you all were around 30 years ago to warn me about Ouija boards. All right, we'll warn you now.
We're only 30 years too late, right?
30 years
there's
ago.
people that absolutely can use a Ouija board and they do perfectly fine with it. They understand how to use it. And again, this goes back to, do not get into stuff that you know nothing about, because some things can turn seriously bad for you. 90% of our cases minimum involve a Ouija board. It's what we're dealing with personally. We know what we're dealing with. We know what the root cause of most of the cases are, and it comes back to the same darn thing. So yeah, I'm going to be a big advocate saying, please don't play with those if you have no clue what they are.
I just can't believe they sell them in stores.
Yeah.
Stores. I can't believe.
Colette said spirit boards are great because it's just another way of communication, like doing EVPs.
And I get, again, Colette, yourself, and there's Pam's great with Gettysburg Ghost Exchange. I know she'll use them. Nikki will use them. There's a lot of people in the field that are really good at knowing how to use them and to close them out. Unfortunately, they sell them to kids to start with, and unfortunately, people get set up with the wrong thing. There's not a time frame when something can come back through about one of those boards. So our view only. I'm not telling you.
And that's our opinion with any piece of equipment. We like to go into an investigation knowing how the piece of equipment works, knowing how to operate it, and knowing what you can get from it. We don't want to be sitting there at a location, stumbling, trying to figure it out and potentially miss something. So it's not just Ouija boards. We're like that with basically any types of communication.
The Ouija boards are the ones that we're going to tell you, of all things, to stay away from. If you have no clue how to use them, that's the one thing I'm going to be an advocate about, period. Because, again, too many of our cases go right back to that. Those that know how to use them, more power to you. Keep them. Enjoy them. Have fun with them. And not knocking that.
Craig, you are the man, buddy. We appreciate what you do for us.
Thanks, Craig.
What does Monica have?
Monica has, kid, you're not my silverware forks. Especially go missing all the time. We used to blame it on our kids when they're young.
I blame mine on my kids because I know I've got two kids
But
in
they are
particular.
grown, out of the house, so just husband and I, within a week of buying
Still
new
silverware.
forks, I have one left. Why silverware?
KOA, it's toothbrushes.
Yep.
Why is it any particular? That's going to be a hard one because now you're dealing with individual personality, what it might have to do with.
Just real quick, Justin's jumping
Yes,
off. So
please.
Justin, thanks for the shout out on there, bud. His link is on there as well. Just wanted to catch him and say thanks before he actually jumped off.
Thank you very much, Justin. We appreciate that. He's very busy. He's got multiple sites, actually. So if you jump on one, you'll see some of the other stuff they have.
And he said, come
Interface
see,
Death, thank you.
come see us in Interface Death at the Battlefield Bash. So sorry, I just want to
No,
catch
no,
him
that's
before he
fine.
jumped off.
Absolutely. We appreciate that, Justin, very much. What does Amber have?
I got it here for you.
Amber's with Grounded Paranormal.
Amber posted, so much happens in my house, especially things opening. So I just walk by and say, oh, thanks for opening that, and just shut up and walk away.
There you go.
That worked.
Most of the time, again, it's not bad activity. You know, just because things happen, big deal. A lot of people live with active locations. And I don't consider an active location a haunted location. To me, a haunted location is when something is definitely trying to scare or, you know, provoke that fear in somebody. That to me is haunted. An active location, just because you have a relative, somebody who used to live there still seems to be there, but you guys get along fine, that's just an active location.
Craig says, save your time posting links. He will post them.
He'll post our link for us. He does every time.
He's awesome.
Well, like during our investigation last night, he was putting up there, hey, thanks for jumping on. For anybody new, this is what they do.
Hold on. Great. Okay. She's jumping off.
Maria,
thanks for being on with us. We certainly appreciate that.
Thank you.
we've got about 9 minutes here.
We're going to go for about 9 more minutes. So, if you have questions, please throw them out there. Brooks Paranormal of the UK, thank you so much for being on with us. I do have a couple I need to try to find out real quick. What was that?
I want to write it down.
Which one, Brooks?
Yeah.
Brooks Paranormal.
There was one more I really want to give a shout out to. I'm going to have you guys do it another. I don't want to sit there in the middle of this and do that, but we will be giving some more shout outs, and we sincerely appreciate, again, everybody who has shared, everybody who's spending their time with us. We're still trying to fish for a really good time to do this at, but we definitely want to do it every week. We want to do one during the daytime so we can reach more people overseas as well as here.
And this is on top of our Thursday night show that we do at 7 o'clock our time. That's Eastern Standard Time for the United States for everybody overseas there.
Go ahead with Barbara's.
Barbara said, do you believe that people come to visit from the other side? For example, they sent you to all of a sudden smell and...
Gotcha. Hang on. Phantom smells. Like Grandpa used to always smoke a cigarette or a pipe particular, and all of a sudden you smell that. He's never smoked it in your house, but all of a sudden you can smell it and you know that's the same exact style. Yeah, we actually believe in that 100%. No different than certain people really, their floor is immaculate and there's a dime or a penny always left for them. You know, we definitely believe it.
Marcy, with what you got there, she says lots of things missing. One time her keys were missing for a week, and then they were hanging right back where they had them. What did you have missing? And
we're not talking about I despise anything touching my damn Butterfinger candy bars, and the last one took my damn candy bar, and I was really mad about it. I'm sorry, but that really, when you got that inkling for something, keys are horrible. Marcy, the next time that really happens, in all sincerity, and this actually does work. It's crazy. You'll find out it's not 100%, probably 70% of the time. When all of a sudden you always put your keys at a certain location for anybody or whatever it is, and you come back and the item is missing, say out loud very sternly, I come back here in an hour, they better be here, or I'm going to deal with you. Do not do that, and really be very forceful about it in that opinion, like you're talking to a kid. Leave the area, come back in an hour, and I'll bet you 7 out of 10 times they're laying right there. It'll blow your mind when it happens.
Gilson, a nice buddy from our station.
Yes.
He had a tool missing for a month.
Yep.
And he finally, he was waiting to see if it'd come back, and he finally said, look, I need it back. It needs to come back. Next morning, there it was.
Yeah, I mean, and that place we were even in, and it was not there.
Samantha and Kirsty, thanks for jumping on. We've only got a few more minutes here, unfortunately, but we appreciate it.
We got about 6 more minutes, so if you have any questions, throw them up there. And real quick, I'll get right back over to you for a second, Freddie. Real quick, you need to come to our page if you want to respond after this. We're right now on Paranormal Warehouse. We love their platform. They've got incredible viewers like yourselves. We so much appreciate it. If you want us to respond to something in particular, you need to jump over to our page, please. Come to our page, shoot us a message. You're more than welcome to. We do a lot more, and we have a lot more stuff, videos, training information, all kinds of stuff on our page. Should we go ahead and ask Craig?
Wait, I was waiting to see if Craig's going to put it up.
Craig has been notoriously awesome.
Craig, you're slacking, man. Come on.
Craig has really been. Craig's in the UK, we're in the United States. He's been posting stuff for us quite a bit as far as letting other people know how they can get in touch with us, and we really do appreciate it. Sandy has done it as well. We sincerely appreciate that. You had something?
Well, just on Monica, we have had our home inspected. We've heard my dad talk, but always hear an older man and woman who talk in different language. They don't scare us. Maybe them who take the silverware laugh out loud, but I have learned a lot over the years, and now